Welcome back to my series on Frog God Games The Blight and running the Levee adventure path. What I want to focus on in this video is religion in the city of Casterhage and the role that it might play in your running of this AP. So the prevailing religion in the city is Mother Grace. She's sort of a neutral deity, and, there are churches throughout the city, honoring her. The aristocracy and the royals, make a show of worshiping her. In the Hollows and Broken Hills section of the city, the most notable sort of religious, structures are to Mother Grace. She is the trademark religion of the city. There are other churches and other faiths within the city, but she is the one that many people, pay homage to. So that's something that's there, may or may not play a role in your campaign. And it's not necessarily what I think is going to be most interesting about this video. One of the things that you start to realize as you read through the book is that while Mother Grace is the prevailing religion, you start to question, well, is she really? One of the things that is hinted at in the book is the cult of Lucifer. Lucifer being, within our own culture, we know about Lucifer. And the way he's described in this book is not all that different. Fallen angel, blah, blah, blah. So, they mention how, the church or the cult of Lucifer is this shadowy sort of unknown within the city, but it's suspected to have, fingers and a little bit of everything. And the more you read through the book, the more you realize, wait a second, is Mother Grace the prevailing religion? Or is, the church or the cult of Lucifer the prevailing religion? At least amongst the upper class, the aristocracy. Amongst the common people, yeah, it probably is Mother Grace. But amongst the upper class, actually might be Lucifer. People might be worshiping Mother Grace outwardly, but all their prayer energy is actually going towards Lucifer. And the more you start to understand how the city works, the more this seems likely. The leader of the city, though no one really knows this, is Demorial, the twice fallen angel, or the twice fallen devil, I think they call her. She was the queen of hell who ruled alongside Lucifer, which, makes you wonder, is he really the one pulling the strings in Casterhage? The Great Coven seems to all be worshippers of Lucifer. When you read about the different families, the most important families in the city, many of the members worship Lucifer. So the more you read into the setting, the more you start to realize, yeah, that the cult or the Church of Lucifer seems to be the dominant power within the city. And that's kind of interesting. Also kind of tells you a little bit why the city is the way it is. I think it also highlights why, the PCs might want to side with the beautiful. If a devil is running the city, and Lucifer is pouring all this energy into controlling things amongst the upper class, yeah, they're going to need somebody punching at that weight class on their side. And the beautiful may very well be that person. Now, the players don't know this. The player characters don't know how pervasive the faith of Lucifer is amongst the city. So, it's one of the things that can be sort of revealed to them later on in an Act 2 that I think can be really interesting. Like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we sided with the beautiful, because how would we have opposed this without this, extra help? Or if they sided against her, it can make, opposing the aristocracy seem even more bleak once they start to realize the powers behind the power, so to speak. So, while Mother Grace seems to be the outward, faith of the city, it really seems like amongst the working class and poor, it's Mother Grace, but amongst the upper castes, it's actually Lucifer. And I think that's something to just sort of keep in mind, as it'll help make, running this, I think, make a lot more sense internally for you. Now, the final thing about religion I wanted to talk about, and this is one of the things I found really, really interesting. Now, I'm sure the authors of the book didn't invent this. It probably shows up elsewhere. This is my first time encountering it in a D&D book, is they introduced the concept of there being 3 faces to a religion. So basically, you could have one faith that's worshipped and practiced in different ways by different sects of the faith. So with Mother Grace, there was, they actually detail the 3 faces of the faith of Mother Grace. Where one might be more of a true neutral, one's more of an evil neutral, and more just plain evil, and one's a little bit more good. One of my players actually saw that and ran with it himself. He is a cleric of Jubilex, the god of, life and creation. He developed his own 3 faces of the faith of Jubilex. And all that demon lord garbage, as he puts it, is just heretics of the faith who don't know what Jubilex is all about. It's actually really amusing, when he confronts people who kind of know who Jubilex really is, and sort of the religious arguments he gets into with those people, because his variant of the religion actually sees Jubilex as neutral to good, and all about creating and life and procreating and all that stuff. So the idea of having there be 3 faces to a religion, I think, can be really interesting. And it's one of the things I actually did with the Beautiful. Since I decided she was going to be an actual angel, one of the thoughts I had is, well, shouldn't she be connected maybe with one of the deities of Casterhage? And the deity I chose was Mithras. Mithras is the god of soldiers and warriors. And when you read sort of the blurb about him in the book, they actually hint at 2 different faces. One of them is the more widespread face of the faith throughout the entirety of the Lost Lands. And I called that face of the religion, what was that? The faith of the honorable warrior. So this is more of a lawful, neutral face of the religion, and it is the one that's the most widespread throughout the lands. Then there's the variant of the religion, which is in Casterhage, which is the unstoppable victor, which is the more neutral, evil faith of the religion. Basically winning by any cost, no matter who you hurt, just a much more evil sort of take on the religion. Then I decided to have the Beautiful be part of the 3rd one, the chaotic good sect of the religion, which is the Church of the Revolutionary. And considering I'm planning on having her be sort of a sponsor for the revolution, makes perfect sense. She's all about, correcting injustice, and, spurring people to overturn, leadership that's not doing the job well enough. And so she's, a backer of that 3rd variant of the faith of Mithras. So I think this can be a really sort of interesting thing to play with within the setting. I've been using it a lot. One of my players used it for his own character. I found it very interesting. So you could have one faith in 3 different ways to approach it. Like I said, I don't think this is the first book to sort of introduce this, but it was just the first one that I myself encountered. And so I thought it was worth highlighting as something that I thought was interesting. So that is faith in the city of Casterhage. How you decide to approach it is going to vary based on your style and what you want to emphasize and introduce into your own campaign. given how I'm using the beautiful, I found it actually important. One of my players also brought it into his own backstory, so it became important. So I think it's definitely something worth looking at and thinking about, and seeing if you want to utilize it in some way in your campaign. All right, so that concludes my video on religion. The next one is going to be on politics of the city. So if you're finding this series interesting, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.